The UFC makes its return this weekend. A week after it debuts on Paramount Plus, we get yet another card, UFC 325, and one that I'm actually way more excited about than I was about UFC 324, although UFC 324 ended up being an absolute banger. So let's get into it. Let's review this card and let's make some picks as we go. I do want to say I want to be extremely respectful to all the fighters involved. It is incredibly difficult to get into the game and to step into that caged area. It's hard. It takes a warrior to do it. So even though I'm making picks, I want to do so respectfully. I'm not going to be one of those guys who makes fun of somebody who fights professionally. It's not the way I do things. That's enough. Let's get into this card. All right, let's get into our prelims here. The curtain jerker is a flyweight bout between Aaron Tao and Namsrai Batbiar from Mongolia. You are going to see quite a bit of New Zealanders and Aussies on this card, of course, being in Sydney. And so that's going to start us off. We've got the New Zealander Aaron Tao with some serious dances with wolves action going on the face there. I bet that's a Maori thing. Pretty cool. If you can get away with it, hope this really works out for him because that's going to be tough to get a job. Namsrai Batbiar from Mongolia. I'll take a look at the odds here. Let's see. That's what we want to see. These guys are cookies. Who cares? Sure, whatever. More cookie settings. My goodness. These guys are early in their careers, obviously at 2-1-0 and 2-0-0. Both flyweights, of course. And we don't really have odds, do we? Okay, fine. Don't know anything about these two gentlemen, but I'm going to go ahead and make the pick on the Mongolian. And the reason is early in your career, fighting in front of a hometown, almost, New Zealand, Australia, close. That's a lot of pressure for a young fighter coming in at 2-1-0. So I'm going to take Namsrai Batbiar there, and we'll move on from that one. Next, we've got a bantamweight contest between Sulongrungbo and Lawrence Liu of New Zealand. So we have a Chinese fighter versus another New Zealander, both also early in their career at 2-0-0, both making their debut here in the UFC. So we're going from flyweight to bantamweight, 125 to 135. Now, in this one, I actually have seen Lawrence Liu fight. Not in person, of course, but I've seen him. I've seen a video of him, and I've seen some of his training, and I like it quite a bit. So, in this case, I'm going to take the hometown boy. I'm going to take Lawrence here to win this one, and I think he gets it done by a decision. All right, another flyweight bout between Kiichiro Nakamura and Sebastian Zele, 2-0-0 both. And we have the Japanese fighter versus the Australian fighter here. Just moving right up those weight classes, aren't we? We're going to 145 here. I like the lighter weight classes. It's a lot of fun. So I'm going to take the Japanese fighter here. Don't know a lot about both of these guys, but I got a soft spot for fighters from Japan. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Now we have a lightweight bout between Sungwook Kim and Dom Mar Fan. Again, a South Korean versus an Australian. Lots of Asians versus the Aussies, huh? Why are they doing that? Why are they doing that? All right, fine, whatever. The South Korean fighter 3-1-0, and we have the 2-0-0 Aussie. But 155, so we got a lightweight bout here, again, staying in the lower weight classes. I have seen a little bit of Kim, and I like what I saw. He's physically very strong, especially for the weight class. He's looks to be a pretty big boy for 155. So we'll see what it's like to cut weight on the big stage the first time. and all the adrenaline dump that comes with that, walking out under the big lights. We'll see if that affects him in any kind of way or if he's able to keep a level head. I'm going to go ahead and take Sungwoo Kim in this one. I think he'll get it done by ground and pound. But I have not seen Dom Mar Fan, so I could be barking up a silly tree here. All right, next, back down to the featherweights, and we have Khan Offley versus Yisya. We got the Aussie versus the Chinese. They are trying to start a trade war or a race war of some type between the Aussies and the Asian fighting contingent here. Don't know which, but that's what we're trying to get done. Almost identical in reach, in leg reach, but the reach is a substantial advantage for the Chinese fighter. So he's got very long arms and very short legs comparatively. So that's an interesting thing there where they're matching up the leg reach, but not matched up in the arms. So I think those physical advantages are important. However, these guys have a lot more experience than what we've seen thus far. We've got 13-4-1 and 26-5-0. Holy smokes, that's a lot of fights. 31 professional fights is a ton. But in this case, I'm going to take Offley. I'm going to take the Aussie here. I think he'll get it done. I think he'll get in underneath that reach, and I think he'll be a bit of a bully here. He's a physically strong dude, a bit of a tank, and I think that's gonna matter. Everything's virtually identical, 5'7" and 5'7". The reach is the big difference, and we'll see how that plays out, but I don't think that's going to be a problem for Offley. Let's keep going. That's a fun one. So those are the early prelims. We get into the regular old prelims now. Going to get up to welterweight here with Jonathan Mikulev and Oban Elliott. 8-1-0, 12-3-0. Oban coming off of a loss. He's an English fighter versus the Aussie here, so we've got a little bit of the old colonist versus what is it? What were they? A prison colony kind of a thing. So that's kind of interesting. It's guards versus inmates on this one. Both 6 foot for welterweight. It's pretty tall, and we have a substantial reach for the Aussie as well. So while they have the same height, the reaches, both of them, we got to give to Jonathan. And that's an interesting body style. I mean, he's kind of got like a compressed torso, but he's got long legs and long arms. It's kind of a unique body style. And I actually think he's going to get it done as well. I think fighting in front of his home crowd, coming off of a win, I think he's going to try to put a little something together here, obviously. I think he'll be pretty charged up. And I think that unusual physical build might be a little tough for the Englishman. So we move on from that. And we see Jacob Malkoun, and Torres Finney in a middleweight bout. Jacob Malkoun looks like the son of Curtis Blades, and Torres Finney looks like a fire hydrant with limbs. Look at that. He is stacked, huh? Dude is just stout. 11-0-0. He does not taste a defeat just yet. And 8-3-0 for the Aussie. That is an unusual build for the weight class, huh? But he does come in with a reach advantage in both his arms and his legs, even though he looks to be a much thicker individual, but pictures can be a little bit deceiving. I am going to take the American because I am patriotic, damn it. I've not seen both of these gentlemen fight. I did see Torres, but I haven't seen them both. Next, we have Cody Brundage and Cam Rouston. You'll remember Cody Brundage. He's been in the UFC a bit. And we're going to contest this one here at middleweight. This is dumb. They're showing their weights at 202.5 versus 184.5. Doesn't make sense. They haven't weighed in yet. What what are we doing? That's weird. Cody Brundage is he has a decided disadvantage in reach and in leg reach. Although I don't think the leg reach is that important in this fight here. Although it could be, I guess. Cam Rouston, I think, is going to get this one done. I think he's going to fight long. I think he's going to fight tall. I think he's going to pick apart for a little while and then eventually get the knockdown and score some ground and pound. We'll see if that actually happens. But that's my prediction for this one. The hometown boy will get it done. Aussies all over the place, huh? Junior Tafa coming off of a loss, and Billy Elikhanov coming off of a win. 6-4-0 for Junior, 9-2-0 for Billy. Another American here, both 6'3". We're going to contest this one at light heavyweight. And Junior is going to give up reach in both of the limb categories. Yeah, so I don't like what I've seen from Junior Tafa recently. Let me say that in a different way. I think he's hit the peak of the skill that he will be able to download into his system there. I don't think there's much more of the software that we can upgrade for Junior Tafa, unfortunately. But I do think Billy gets this one done, and this isn't just patriotism shining through. This is, I think he's going to have the tools, excuse me. I think he's going to have the tools to get it done, and unfortunately, Junior's just not going to have quite enough firepower to keep Billy off of him. So we shall see. Next, a couple of Aussies. Whoops. I don't know how to use the internet machine. All right, we have Jamie Malarkey. Outstanding last name. No more malarkey. I keep doing the same damn thing. It won't open up the way I want it to. Okay, anyway, we have Quillan Salkilo, or what? How do you pronounce it? Salkild? God, need my glasses. And Jamie Malarkey. I like this fight a lot. I like both of these gentlemen are pretty. Maybe if I close this, what do you think, boys? If I close this, can we get this to work now? Sure can't. Who cares? Lightweight bout. Jamie Malarkey, I really like him. I also like Quillan. I've seen them both. Gosh, this one's tough. This one's a toss-up for me. Just kind of going on my gut. But yeah, let's take Quillan in this one. Next, we get to the heavies. We're going to have Tai and Taliesin Teixeira. Tai Tuivasa, everybody's favorite shoe enthusiast. Yeah, so here's the thing. Ty's had a rough go. I think Taliesin, his physicality at 6'7" is going to be challenging. I wouldn't say he's a stout, strong guy, though, and Tai can maybe be a bully. He's obviously big at the top of the heavyweight limit. But again, with Tai, he's fun. Everybody loves him. He's made some changes. I know he's doing things a little bit differently. Everybody loves to see a slugfest. I don't know how much ceiling there is there. Seems like a really great guy, and also always fun to watch. Gosh, love to watch Tai Tuivasa fight, but I just don't think there's a lot more space for technical development there. So I am going to take Taliesin on this one. But I could be proven wrong. If Tai comes in and he's kind of a weight bully and he really makes it ugly, but ugly in a way that he stays protected, it could be a completely different outcome, and I could be completely wrong. But for now, let's go with Taliesin. All right, this is a fight I am excited for here, boys. Rafael Fiziev versus Mauricio Huffy. Mauricio coming off that loss, of course, and Fiziev looking good in his last outing. I love watching Rafael Fiziev fight. If you have never seen his Muay Thai from before he was in the UFC, when he was just fighting straight Muay Thai, the guy is a buzzsaw. He is a buzzsaw of Muay Thai. Of course, we've seen some outstanding fights with him in the UFC, displaying that Muay Thai and that toughness. He's also a physical tank. He's a really tough guy. and he really always brings it. Mauricio Huffy, obviously, super exciting, throws spin and shit all over the place, and that can be an exciting thing as well. We will see which one of those two approaches is the one that gets it done. So Fighting Nerds trying to make a resurgence here, with Jean Silva winning on his last outing, and now we have Mauricio Huffy trying to get back on the winning track. Fiziev is a bit shorter at 5'8". He tends to be shorter than his opponents. He's not a tall guy, but he's also giving up reach in the hands pretty substantially. But he's a good inside fighter. The thing about it is, what I think this is going to come down to is actually not so much on the inside. On the outside. I think Fiziev is going to want to get to the inside, but Huffy is going to have an advantage in the clinch and the plum. I think he's going to really use that and blend that nicely. So this is going to be a barn burner. There's no way this isn't an exciting fight. Don't blink on this one. Don't leave. Don't get your popcorn. Make sure you got all your drinks lined up before this fight starts. This one is so stinking fun on paper, and there's no way that in the cage it doesn't deliver. I am going to take Huffy on this one. I'm going to take Huffy to get back in the win column. Want to see him be really active. Obviously, you want to see him move in those clinches. You want to see him use that reach and height advantage. That can be a big advantage in the clinch, especially in the plum. If he uses it well, keeps those elbows in the chest and collarbones, and uses his footwork to move him around, move Fiziev around. That can be a real big advantage for him. So I look for that to be probably the thing that tells this fight, the story of this fight. So looking forward to this one a lot. I'll take Huffy to get back on the winning track, and that's no slight to Fiziev, because love watching that guy fight as well. Next, we have Dan Hooker versus Benoit Saint-Denis. Dan Hooker, of course, coming off of a loss to Arman Tsarukyan, and Benoit Saint-Denis, a big win. These guys are interesting matched up together, huh? Benoit I think he's a bit physically stronger, kind of a tank of a guy. He's deceptively tall at 5'11". When you see him kind of walking around, I think maybe because of his posture, he doesn't look that tall, but 5'11" is fairly tall, but gives up an inch to the hangman, and gives up a couple of inches of reach and a bit in the leg reach as well. Dan Hooker is an interesting fighter to me. He doesn't, I mean this with all respect, he doesn't do anything spectacularly. He does things really well, and he seems to always find himself, when he wins, in a position where his strengths can be exerted over the opponent's weaknesses. He's legendary tough. And he's a guy that just absolutely loves a fight and loves to bring it. So he's a guy you want. He's a guy you want sitting next to you at a bar if something kicks off, right? Dan Hooker's that guy. Benoit Saint-Denis is he's also very physically tough. Like I said, I think probably going to be the physically stronger man in the cage. But I don't know that Benoit does enough better than Hooker to really get it done. I think it's clear promotionally you want this to be a coming out party for the God of War here. I don't know if that's necessarily going to be the case. We know that Dan Hooker fights a bit with reckless abandon. I don't know that he has a great game plan to follow. I hope he does. I think Benoit has been very good in his transitions. I think he's transitioning from standing to the ground is very good. Throws extremely hard. He's got a new camp. He's been with a new camp for a few fights, and they've really tuned some things up. So I think they've upgraded his software to a great degree, but the hardware, the toughness is not going anywhere. So as much as I love watching Dan Hooker fight, I don't think technically he's got enough here. If he's going to, he's got to keep Benoit off of him. Can't let Benoit put his head in his chest and bully him on the ground. Hooker's ground game is not the best in the division, but he does find a way to get it done. but he needs to not just be bullied by the strength and weight distribution of Benoit Saint-Denis. So I think if Hooker's going to get it done, again, the clinch and the knees are going to be a big deal. Elbows are going to be a big part of his game plan. But if he gets into a boxing fight with Benoit Saint-Denis, I think he gets rocked and taken down. So I'm going to take Benoit on this one, although I think this will go to a decision. And Dan Hooker's never been in a boring fight, so I think this will be fun, no matter what. So that's a good one. I don't like to pick against Dan Hooker. Super fun to watch, but I just don't know that he has enough technical acumen to get this one done. And when the fire starts flinging around, he tends to throw strategy out the window and fights, and that can be good and entertaining, but it might not be the best strategy. All right, let's get to the top of the card. The champ, Alexander Volkanovski, takes on a returning challenger in Diego Lopez. I love Alexander Volkanovski. I'm going to come out ahead of time and say that I'm a stan, no doubt about it. I love this guy. I love cooking with Volk. I loved the old man Volk thing. Alexander Volkanovski is awesome. Seems like an amazing guy. He is just a ton of fun, and what a fighter he is as well. So let me just get this out of the way before there's any comments about me being a Volk stan. I admit it. I am. I'm not going to make a pick on this. Well, I'll make a pick. Shit. I'm going to make a pick, but I have some other thoughts here. Diego Lopez, also fantastic. Super fun to watch. Takes me back to early 2000s Fall Out Boy and emo with the haircut, which is super awesome, but also seems like a great guy. Obviously, the UFC would love to have an exciting Mexican champion, although he's Brazilian, but he speaks Spanish as well, and he lives in Mexico. So that would be super exciting for the UFC to really crack into that market. Brandon Moreno, I think, was the last one to really represent that well. I'm not including, the ladies in this conversation at the moment, but yeah, I think Diego Lopez would be somebody who would really carry the torch in Mexico and help bring in more buys and of Paramount Plus and more eyes to the sport south of the border. Here's the question in this fight. They've already fought once. Volkanovski won. We all saw that one, and that was a great fight, by the way. Outstanding fight. Volkanovski is getting older, and he's in a weight class where the older fighters don't typically perform at the highest level, and the champion is, I think he's the oldest champion, south of 155 pounds ever. Fact check me on that, but it's after the age of 35 in those lower weight classes, man. It's a rough go, but Volk he's been a bit ageless. He's been able to come back and regain his title, and that's pretty spectacular. It's something we've never seen before. I think it puts Volk in the conversation of all-time greats. The question in this fight comes down to, has Volk reached his sell-by date? I don't think enough time has passed between the first fight and this for Diego to have upgraded his technical capabilities to the extent that he could overwhelm Volk. Technically. Diego Lopez is a fantastic athlete. He's younger. I don't think he's a better athlete than Volkanovski. I think Alexander Volkanovski in his prime was actually a better athlete than Diego Lopez. But the question, again, has enough sand run out of the hourglass here? That's what it comes down to. And I don't know the answer to that. Volk shouldn't have won the first fight statistically based on his age and his weight class, but he did. He did, and he won it spectacularly, by the way. So I think there's every possibility he could get it done once again. Diego Lopez, like I said, I don't think enough time has passed for him to have upgraded his software enough to have some additional technical wrinkles. I don't think that that's going to be the case. I think he's going to fight like he fights. And the question is, will his youth and that youthful exuberance that comes with it be enough to take care of Volk this time around? My head says Diego. It really does. My head says Diego Lopez. My heart says Volkanovski. I don't want to pick against the champ in this case. So I am going to take Volkanovski. That's my heart pick. But I would not be surprised if Diego is able to get this done. To me, again, it comes down to the singular question of, has Father Time decided that it's enough for Volk? And Father Time remains undefeated. Right now, Volkanovski he's up 4 rounds to none. So we'll see if he can maintain that streak he's had against the clock and the calendar. But I am going to take Volk, and that's based purely on my love for the man. I told you I was a stan. God dang it. Just let me be on that, okay? But, this is going to be a fun one. The top of this card, man, what a blast this is going to be. They put Tuivasa and Teixeira here because Tuivasa throws bolos. Rafael Fiziev and Mauricio Huffy, well, there's no way that's not fun. Dan Hooker could be in an exciting fight with a grappling dummy. And, of course, this one, there's no way this isn't fun. So the main card of UFC 325, at least on paper, holy shit, man, we're in for a good one here. So go out there, get your snacks, get your drinks, and we'll be back here. And I'll be back here to own my picks. I'll be back here to tell you. We'll see how I did. But I'm excited for this one so much. UFC 325 coming to you from Australia, and it will be available on Paramount Plus, and it will be a frickin' blast. Let's do it.